go. Click yes. That one for now. And that one. Yep, and we are live. Set the phone on do not disturb so it doesn't get loud during the stream. Hey folks, hope you've had a good week. So today I'm going to be working on the Feral Warpwolf by Privateer Press. This is part of their Hordes game, well, Hordes and War Machine. They're two halves of the same thing, really. This one here, a friend of mine gave me some Circle Orboros stuff, and this was in it, and I figured this one would be a nice one to do on a stream. I've got some reference stuff loaded on how wolf fur looks. I'm going to try and emulate some of it just won't emulate well on this model. We'll see how we go. I've done the undercoat already, you can see. It's a mix of Beastie Brown by Vallejo and Wraithbone from GW through the airbrush. So it's a Wraithbone base coat, and I've added some of the brown into that to get the back. We're going to have to do some shading around the muscle structures here. We're going to do that without using the shade paints just because they take forever to dry and that's no good on stream. Maybe a few little highlights and touch-ups. The main area I want to work on is going to be the actual fur, the sculpted fur, and try and bring that out a bit better. So with that all said, I'm not entirely sure where I want to get started on it. I think I'm going to go for some Storm Vermin fur. It's a darker brown, darker grey with some brown mixed into it by the looks of it. And I'm going to try and go over the furry areas with that. The nose and snout are going to stay as they are. We'll pick out the teeth. We're going to have to add some detailing into the eyes. We're going to have to try and actually paint the eyes. I normally try and avoid that. And then we're going to lighten up the peaks of the fur. There's also, I should point out, there are some armor plates. Those I think, yes, normally gold and green. I think I'm going to do that a silver color and green, because I think the gold will clash a bit too much with the browns on the fur. I could be wrong. I may change my mind later. We'll see how that goes. As I said, some Storm Vermin fur. And coming on all of this sculpted fur. Some of this stuff I will want to make darker. Some of it will go much lighter. We'll start with kind of a middle ground and see how we go from there. Gently. I didn't look too much about what these neck decorations are normally made of. There's some leather strapping. The leather strapping I think I want to do as a black leather because the browns are too close to the furs. some of this, I'm going to refer to as the main, is going to be light brown, light greys, light browns, and some parts I will darken down. This colour scheme is, yeah, just sort of coming off some reference pictures I've had of wolves and how their patterning behaves. I did consider trying to scratch up the flat areas to make them look like there's shorter hairs there. I can't do that. I'm not ready to try and do that on stream. I am 100% confident I will screw that up. And then it's end of stream because I have to go and repaint the model with the airbrush. I did consider trying to do some stippling as well with the sponge packs, this sort of sponge. That's really good for sponging on some textures, but decided against that as well. I'm going to try and avoid the ears here. Hoping this comes out looking pretty good. I've only ever painted one the Feral Warpwolf, I think it is, or War Dog, and that was kind of an accidental overspray with the airbrush as I was painting some other stuff, and it just happened to look like a natural dog look. So I went with it. I'm just going to move to more of a glaze consistency here. So I want to wash the storm vermin fur into the recesses and try and leave the base coat showing a bit. A little bit more of the sculpted hair there. And I'll come back in with another coat of this, and hopefully that'll work out well. So while I wait for that part to dry, I'm going to start tackling some of the leather straps. As I said, I was going to do them in black to try and get a bit of contrast from the greys and all that. The greys and the browns. really nice sculpted detail. I will highlight this with a dark grey. I don't want to bring it up too light. I'm not going to do the extra hair details on the hand just yet. I want to see how I go with the rest first. Split. I need to invest in some new brushes. These ones are all a couple of years old now. They've all seen better days. Maybe I'll get myself a Christmas present, buy myself some new brushes. I think the most recent brush that I bought was a about 2 years ago. I'm only really worried about getting the top of the straps. Where it goes over the edge, I'm not too worried about. And I'll get the underneath for the straps later. So I can get a feel for how the model's going as I progress. Gently does it. My daughter was really excited when she saw the model. They were talking about werewolves at Kinder. And she was so excited telling me about werewolves, and I showed her this model, and I showed her the werewolf, the Apocalypse role-playing game books. And she got really excited. There's a werewolf! There's a werewolf! Kind of cute. So you can get an idea there that it's going to stand out more. Throw some goop on this brush and try and get it to behave a bit better. that won't sit for a while. So I'll need a bit more storm vermin fur. Didn't put enough on the pallet to do 2 coats. Just to try and make sure we're not patchy. As much as I want the final fur to look patchy, I don't want it to be because I've missed parts. There where I've got some on the base. Spot there. Something there. Generally try to avoid stabbing the brush into gaps, but sometimes it just can't really be avoided. Some of the details just that little bit deeper than the brush can handle normally. Not sure what colour to do the eyebrows. There's normally, like in that area on a wolf, from the reference pictures I've got, it's normally very light grey to white. So I'm thinking I'll probably do that for the eyebrows. And then of course, the really dark eyes. Again, some of this that I've got is a glaze consistency. It's just very, very wet. I'll try and mix that in here. With the storm vermin fur, I'm going to mix some of that in with a little bit of black to darken that down. I'm going to make this reasonably dark and start picking out not individual sets of hair, but rather go pretty broad here. Here. That was probably a bit too dark, but I can mix a bit more in, that'll be fine. softly mix that in a bit. And a little bit darker towards the center. And similarly, I'm going to try and do that along here. I'm going to try and follow from right between the eyes up towards the back. Kind of unsure on how I'm going to do basing. This model is already assembled and had some stuff added onto the base already. I'm probably going to break him off this base, set up the base to be a little bit more detailed, some static grasses maybe, and then glue back on. Just with some of this darker mix, I'm going to again glaze into here. So I want to try and build up a shade without using a shade paint, because this will dry a little bit cleaner and a little bit quicker than standard shade paints do. I'm going to set up some Beastie Brown and some Administratum Grey. I'm going to start doing some mixing on the palette for picking out some of these sections of in some parts I'm going to mix the Storm Vermin Fur into the Administratum Grey. In some parts I'm going to mix some of the Beastie Brown in. I'm just going to slowly start to highlight, throw in some individual highlights in spots. This can be a little bit random to start with, and then as it goes on we can pick out some more dedicated patches, try and build up an actual pattern maybe. See, that quickly starts bringing out some of the detail. Mix a little bit of the grey into the brown. Brush. not to go too overboard with this mix. Try and keep that streaky look. Continue with this, picking out spots in these mixes of these colours so that it's not all that uniform. And sometimes I'm just going to go back over the same thing again. When I get pretty comfortable with most of this, I'll probably add an even brighter colour in, maybe mix some white scar up. What? Spring. Okay. Okay. The hazard of live streaming. Real life sometimes shows up. Don't mind a couple of brown specks, but I think I really want to limit those. So that'll be fun. Looks like my daughter won't be going to kinder this week. Positive COVID cases, yay! Shep life. While I'm doing this actually, the inside the ears needs to get a few hairs here. Of course, the nose has to be black. That far back. Where is it? I'm gonna get some Screaming Skull out now, quickly, while I'm thinking about it, and get the teeth. So the way I normally do teeth for animals like this is screaming skull, then I'll wash it with Ushabti bone, wash it with Seraphim sepia, and then highlight with sometimes some white, or sometimes I'll just come back with some screaming skull. Really varies. In this case, it's gonna be white. It's gonna need to be white to stand out. Around the lip area, I think I'm going to do it a lot darker. That'll help things stand out. So it'll be the mix of, now, the mix of black with the Storm Vermin fur. That's the name of it. From a model perspective, it looks a little bit weird, but that's typically, wolves have a darker area around their mouths. That was messy. Some of this mix here. Darker mix. Slightly darker mix. I'm gonna get just there and there. Also in the eye area. Move this over the other side to the black. Mix. Let's see how it goes. That's not going to work that way. Alright. Dryad barking. This is going to be pretty fine detail work to try and get an eye. I hate doing eyes. The problem with working with such fine brushes is that if you're not careful, the paint will dry before you get a chance to really put it on the model. bad. Well, I'll put this out actually. A couple of spots. Can go full brown. Just help tie it in. Not sure what these spikes are supposed to be. I'm gonna have to look on the actual artwork and see whether they're like a bone or something like that. I'm gonna break out some Iron Warrior. I'm gonna use Iron Warrior because I keep getting to swap out to the new pot of lead belt. I'm gonna get some of that on. And start grabbing some of the details around the armor plates. I will highlight this so it won't be so dark on the final version. Now, for the greening, I think for the green itself, and that probably should have actually been the part that I'd work on first. I'm going to go for a base coat of wild flesh, and then warpstone glow. I can try that on the other side while I think about it. Because I want quite a bright green in here. So the green itself goes into the background detail here. And I could probably get away with just doing wild flesh. But I don't want to just get away with it. I want to add some brightness and some vibrancy to it, because there's not a lot of colours other than browns and greys on the model. So I really want that green to pop. Nicely having given a bit more, bit more space for the green to sit, so I didn't have to struggle so hard to try and get it in there. Guess this is the reason I should have done the green first, and then go with the Iron Warrior, then highlight the Iron Warrior. Mistakes were made. Now that I've kind of laid that in, I have to wait for that to dry. So what I'll do is the arms and the legs, the fur's there. I'll quickly get them a coat of storm vermin. Try and use some of the stuff that's so not quite so thin. And it should give a better look of what the finished model will be quicker. Which is normally what I aim for in these streams, so do enough that you can get an idea of what the finished model will look like, and then I normally post a finished version up on Twitter. Sometimes on Facebook. I kind of forget Facebook is used for more than just Messenger. I think, given how much time this is taking, I think it's going to be the same as the Genestealer Cult Nexus, where I'm going to do this over 2 weeks and try and do try to show more of it on camera. The actual cloth around the waist, I think I'm going to do actually steal the idea of the Deathworld Forest and a Athonian camo shade from that Genestealer cult, actually. Because the greens will fit the style. If I try to do like brown cloth, that'd kind of get too lost. The green will fit, but also stand out enough. from the other detail that's around it. I think the only part I'll try and get done during the week, and it's purely because it's easier to do off stream, is finish the leather straps. Because I need to hold that closer, it will be easier for me to finish. Detail brush to help with this, because I've got to go around the top of the cloth and try not to hit the skin. Still, it's pretty hard to try and control where I'm holding for the camera. I need more practice. I mean, I could stream more often, but that gets a little bit hard for me to do. At the moment, filming painting videos is not really practical, given that I'm not getting a lot of extra painting done, and what I am painting at the moment has mostly been terrain, trying to get ready for a battle report. That'll be exciting. Yeah, a lot of what I've been painting, and the reason I haven't been putting out many hobby streak videos, is all stuff that is not really interesting to see. It's been getting a little bit of work done on one set of models per week, and showing the slow progress on that is really bad news. So I think that's where we're probably going to leave it for the night. Go find out more details about what's going on with my daughter's kinder. Yeah. Have a good one, folks. As always, drop a comment, like, subscribe, all that jazz. Tag me on Twitter with what you're working on. I'd actually love to be able to see what stuff people are working on. Yeah, have a good one.